You tried productivity systems like time blocking and setting boundaries, and you're still stressed, still exhausted, and still wondering why nothing actually works. Here's what nobody's telling you: your stress isn't a time management problem or a workplace problem. It's a pattern handed down to you before you were born, and it's running your life silently behind the scenes every single day. What I'm about to show you is the one thing that explains why every stress management strategy you have ever tried has failed you, and it started long before you were born. In this video, I'll show you why your productivity systems keep collapsing no matter how good they are. Then, we'll uncover the hidden ancestral pattern that's silently driving your stress response at work every single day. And finally, I'll show you how to start working with this pattern instead of against it so you can stop white knuckling your way through every workday. By the end of this video, your workplace stress is going to make more sense for the very first time. Let's get into it. I remember sitting at my desk with files, papers, and binders all around me. I was the associate that managed the account opening, paperwork, and account transfers for an extremely large investment portfolio of hundreds of millions of dollars. I had systems and checklists to keep me organized. I time blocked my calendar and used a reference binder with my own handwritten procedures. I kept an accordion file on my desk for every recurring task. I was organized and reliable. I showed up 100% every single day, and I handled it. But here's what I also remember: my work was never done. There was no end to the day where I could look at my desk and say, everything is done. There was always a follow up call waiting, always a task that depended on someone else, always something rolling into tomorrow and the next day and the next. And when something landed on my desk last minute, I felt it in my body before I even processed it mentally. Extreme pressure, that physical urgency to get what was handed to me done as soon as possible and off my plate. What I know now is that physical pressure had nothing to do with the job. It was something far older than that, something that had been running in the background of my nervous system long before I ever walked into a corporate office. So let's start here, because this is the thing to keep in mind before we go any further. And I want to say it clearly because it's the opposite of everything you've been told. Your productivity system isn't failing because you're undisciplined. It's not failing because you need a better app or a better routine. It's failing because something underneath the system keeps overriding it. And until you understand what that something is, you'll keep cycling through the same frustrating loop. You'll start a new productivity system, find something that works temporarily, and then back to overwhelm. And you know what? Your poor little body keeps paying the price. Here's what conventional advice tells you: get even more organized, get really firm on time blocking your calendar, or delegate more to your team members. And look, those aren't totally wrong. But here's what most people miss: if you're already highly organized, already setting boundaries, already trying just about everything, and you're still stressed, your productivity system isn't really the problem. Think of it like this: imagine your house has a smoke alarm that goes off every single morning at 7 a.m. You could spend your life learning to sleep through the noise. You could buy better earplugs, or you could rearrange your furniture so you can't hear the smoke alarm as clearly. Or you could ask why the alarm keeps going off in the first place. Your productivity system is the earplugs. Your stress pattern is the alarm. And nobody's telling you this, but until you find out why the alarm is going off, the noise is never going to stop. So here's what I want you to do instead. The next time your productivity system breaks down, the next time you abandon the time blocks or feel that rush to just get it done right now before you blame yourself, ask one question: where was it that I initially learned I needed to work this hard just to be okay? Write down what comes to you in a journal and just contemplate the answer, because this is the beginning of actually fixing the alarm. And if this is something you've never thought of and something just clicked, go ahead and give this video a like. When you do, your engagement helps more women just like you find this content. Thanks, and let's get back to the video. Now we're getting a little deeper into the rabbit hole because I'm going to show you exactly where that alarm came from. No one is talking about this, not in the wellness space, not in the career coaching space, nowhere. Listen up because this might be the most important thing you hear today. This is what traditional stress management totally overlooks. It assumes your relationship with work started when you got your first job, that you came into the workplace as a blank slate who simply needed better tools and better habits. But here's the thing, you weren't born into this world as a blank slate, not even close. Research in epigenetics, the science of how our experiences shape our gene expression, is now confirming what wisdom traditions have known for centuries. We don't just inherit our grandparents' eye color and bone structure, we inherit their stress responses. We inherit the emotional and physiological patterns that help them survive. These patterns can be traced back generations. Some researchers suggest as far back as 8 generations. Let that sink in. Your grandmother's fear of not having enough. Your great grandfather's drive to work from sunrise to sunset on the family farm just to feed his 7 children. The hypervigilance of ancestors who lived through displacement, poverty, misery, survival situations that compelled the body to keep continuously aware, permanently ready, permanently on. That didn't disappear when their circumstances changed. It was encoded, passed down, and guess what? That's right, it's sitting in your nervous system right now, showing up every single morning at the office when you sit down to start your computer. Picture this. Imagine a racehorse, let's call him Bucky, and he was trained from birth to run the moment he heard a starting gun. Many years later, long after the races are over, Bucky still flinches and surges forward at any sudden loud sound. Bucky isn't being dramatic, nor is he being difficult, because Bucky's nervous system was conditioned to respond that way. And no amount of telling him to calm down changes the wiring. You're that horse, you're Bucky. The office is the starting gun. And every urgent email, every last minute request, every packed calendar is pulling that trigger, activating a stress response that's ancient, inherited, and completely automatic. Your body is not broken. It's doing exactly what it learned to do to keep your lineage alive. The problem is that survival wiring in a modern workplace doesn't just create stress. There are studies out there that support that over time, this wiring can create illness. It creates exhaustion and that feeling you can't shake that no matter how much you do, it's never enough. So here's a new way of looking at this. Your drive, your work ethic, your need to stay organized and appear capable and get everything handled, that isn't a flaw. That's ancestral intelligence. It kept your family alive and brought you to where you are today. But what kept your ancestors alive is now keeping you stressed. And the moment you understand that distinction, the moment you stop fighting your drive and start getting curious about where it comes from, that's when the pattern begins to lose its grip. Your body already knows something is off and has been sending you signals. The question is whether you're ready to stop managing the noise and start listening to what your body is actually trying to tell you. Now, let's talk about what this actually looks like in practice, because once you see this, you won't be able to unsee it. And I say that not to alarm you, but because awareness is the first real tool you have ever been given for this. This is what no one in the productivity industry tells you. Stress does more than just make you feel awful. The neurological ability required to operate any system at all is physiologically destroyed. When your survival pattern gets activated, when that ancient alarm goes off, your brain shifts resources away from the prefrontal cortex. That's the part of your brain responsible for planning and strategic thinking, the very things every productivity system requires. And it floods your body with cortisol, the stress hormone that narrows your focus, speeds up your reactions, and puts you into get it done or get out mode. So here's what's actually happening when your productivity system falls apart. You're not being lazy, you're not being disorganized. Your nervous system has literally taken the strategic part of your brain offline because it believes you're in danger. And then you sit there wondering why you can't focus, why you keep jumping between tasks, why you feel rushed, even when the calendar is clear. This is like trying to follow a complex recipe during a fire drill. The recipe is not the problem. The fire drill is the problem. and your body has been running a silent fire drill every single workday for years. So here's what actually works. Instead of trying to force the system when you're already activated, start by noticing the activation. When you feel that surge of urgency, that pressure to produce, that sense that something bad will happen if you slow down, name it out loud if you have to. Say, "This is my survival pattern. This isn't the present moment. This is old information running through a new situation." Your brain's prefrontal cortex is brought back online by that one act of naming, which starts to break the loop. It allows you to make an alternative decision by providing just enough time between the trigger and the response. It won't occur right away. However, it's the only intervention that addresses the issue at its root. So let's start to land the plane because here's the bottom line, and I want to be really straight with you here. The wellness industry, the productivity industry, and the career coaching space are all telling you a version of the same thing. Work on your habits, build a better routine, manage your stress more effectively. And if you're still struggling, it's a discipline problem. And here's what I know to be true: that framing isn't just unhelpful, it's harmful because it takes a deeply ancestral, deeply physiological pattern and places the entire responsibility for that pattern onto your individual choices. And that keeps you locked in a cycle of self blame that actually intensifies the very stress response you're trying to escape. You aren't failing at productivity. You're merely in survival mode. You're doing exactly what generations before you learned to do. The work isn't to do it better. The work is to recognize that you're safe enough now to do it differently. Here's what channeling the ancestral strength differently actually looks like. It starts with one question at the beginning of your workday. Am I working from fear today, or am I working from choice? Not from guilt about yesterday or from anxiety about what might happen if you slow down, but from a genuine, grounded decision about how you want to direct your energy today. That's a big question. For most high achieving women, when they answer it honestly for the first time, the answer is fear. And that honesty isn't a defeat. It's the most important thing you can ask yourself. You can't change what you can't see, and now you can see it. By the way, if you're new here, hey, I'm Levine. I spent over 10 years in corporate finance, successful on paper, but constantly busy, stressed, and honestly feeling off in my body. It took me a while to realize it wasn't just stress, it was misalignment. Now I help professional women reduce stress and get clear on their next step toward work that actually feels good in their body. And if that resonates with you, make sure you're subscribed because I publish new videos regularly. Now that you understand the ancestral pattern underneath your workplace stress, you're probably asking yourself, okay, Levine, but where did this actually start in my life? What happened in my childhood that locked this pattern in so deeply I couldn't even recognize it until now? If that question popped into your head, go and watch this video next, The Hidden Driver of Workplace Stress. In that video, I go all the way under the hood and show you exactly how your childhood conditioning became the engine driving everything we talked about today. Watch both those videos together and something is going to click that changes how you see your stress completely. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.